My story is one of persistence. One that if you work long enough, if you work hard enough, your dreams will come true. As a kid, I always wanted to become a mechanical engineer. I wanted to grow up to build robots, is what I used to say. So I took that traditional path of, doing good in school, to go to college, to get a good job, to live a comfortable life. And I stayed true to that path all the way to my senior year in college, where I found out about all the different ways that you could make money online. I now wanted to be an entrepreneur, is what I told my wife when I dropped out of college. Why spend the next year in college when I could spend the next year building my online business? I mean, how hard could it really be? Boy, was I wrong. I spent the next 3 years trying harder to build an online business than anything I've ever done in my entire life. I tried Amazon FBA 3 different times and I failed. I tried dropshipping 3 different times and I failed. I tried a lead generation agency, a social media marketing agency, essentially any way that you could possibly make money online, and I failed. The point that I'm trying to get at here is, yes, I failed a lot, but every single time that I failed, I made a decision not to quit, see where I went wrong, learn from my mistakes, and ultimately try again. And I just figured that if I just tried long enough, that if I just got a little bit better each day, eventually I'd become good enough to build a successful online business. And that's exactly what I did. In 2020, during the peak of COVID, a good friend of mine, Jesse, who you guys will meet in a later episode, super successful Etsy seller, told me about the opportunity of selling face masks on Etsy. He said, buy this printer, buy this heat press, buy these masks. He said, don't copy me, but good luck. So I literally spent the next week waiting for everything to arrive in the mail, creating my Etsy account, the listings, the designs, to have everything essentially ready so when the equipment came, I could just turn on my shop. That's when everything changed. I got 17 sales my first day, got 30 sales the next day, 60 sales, 120, 250, 500 sales a day, by day like 5. I remember sitting at my kitchen table with my wife, just looking at my phone buzzing nonstop with orders. I remember just thinking to myself for the first time since the day that I chose to be an entrepreneur that I made the right choice, that I didn't just spend the last 3 years wasting my family's time. I remember promising myself right then and there that I was never gonna give up and that I was gonna give this 100%. I ended up working 16 hours a day for the next 90 days straight. We grew out of my garage within the first week. We got into a bigger unit, had my first employee within the first month. We had a bigger unit and 15 employees by the end of the 4th month. We ramped that business to 800 to 1,000 masks a day. When the mask mandates ended, so did the business. We literally went from 500 masks a day to 5 masks a day overnight. And I had, my family, my employees, essentially everybody looking at me for direction, like what's next? And at that time, I had fallen in love with Etsy, owning a print shop, my employees, being a boss. So instead of just starting something different, we decided to rebuild. We spent the next 1.5 years rebuilding our print shop from the ground up. I made my first $1 million on Etsy selling face masks. And then I made my next $1.5 million on Etsy selling other print products. So that brings me to today. I have a lot of people asking me about selling on Etsy, and the number one question that I get is, Steven, if you were to start over today, what exactly would you do? And I thought, what if instead of just telling you, I showed you? What if I actually started over today? What if I launched a brand new Etsy shop from scratch, print on demand, and documented the whole thing, curtains completely peeled back? So with that, I want to officially announce the Print on Demand $1 Million Challenge, where I'm literally gonna be launching a brand new print on demand Etsy shop from scratch and try to grow it to $1 million revenue in the next 12 months. Be 100% transparent, curtains peeled 100% back, and at the end, donate 100% of the profits to a charity. I get it. I get it more than most. The struggles of starting a new business, the struggles of not knowing where to go, the direction, the struggles of watching hundreds of YouTube videos and trying to piece together a questionable strategy. I get it. So I'm gonna start over from complete scratch. I'm gonna build my business right alongside you, and I'm gonna be there every step of the way. So with that, let's not waste any more time. Cue the intro. Imagine a blueprint, a step-by-step guide, a challenge where I peel back the curtains and show you exactly what it takes to sell print on demand on Etsy. Welcome to the Print on Demand $1 Million Challenge. Alrighty, welcome to video 1. In this video, we're gonna make things official. We're gonna open up your Etsy account. We're gonna open up your printify account. We're gonna connect the two, and then we're gonna be in business. Thousands of people are interested or want to sell on Etsy, yet in reality, very few follow through. In your opinion, why is that?
This comes down a lot of times to self-limiting beliefs. People just get really down and decide that it's not a good fit, even though if they would have just pushed past it and actually tried for longer, they could have eventually gotten to that point.
We want a lot of things in our life. We want to achieve all these goals, and then we have a million things that we want to do on our bucket list, right? The game becomes, I need to move this print on demand opportunity to the top of the list.
After, you get that initial excitement, that initial wave, is you tend to get into a state of overwhelm because now it's game time. Now you're going to start actually trying to build a business. So the biggest missing piece, in my opinion, is the education and the understanding of what to do to get it done the right way and make your time worth it that you're pouring into your POD business.
There's this chance at failure, and it's a lot freaking easier to say no to a chance at failure than actually doing the thing.
There's this fear of failure. But what I found is that the best way to really learn something is to start doing it.
A lot of people come in and they have success from the very beginning, but in the end, it just becomes like any other business. You got to put in the work, and over time, you can find which parts of the actual business that you can actually automate.
And I realized, I got to get out of my own way. This is already hard enough as it is. Any self-doubt that's creeping into my mind isn't helping. I think that lesson really helped me achieve a lot in life, and starting an online business was no different. It was no exception.
They do it for about 2 weeks, get maybe 10 listings up and don't see results and say it's not for them. In reality, they haven't done enough reps in order to see results.
Once I finally got that first organic sale, it was a moment of, wow, random people online like my product enough to buy this product. So this has to be real, as other people are saying.
People really just need to hop in and just start, putting out products, putting out listings, and they'll realize pretty quickly that it's a lot simpler than they actually think it is, and they'll kind of just figure things out as they go.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is go to Etsy.com. We are going to scroll down to the very bottom and click on Sell on Etsy. If you scroll down a little bit, there's gonna be a button that says Open your Etsy account. We are going to enter in our email address here. We're going to give them our information. And then we're gonna click Register. So now we're gonna click on Get Started. And let's do this. We can go ahead and skip these questions here. I'm gonna go ahead and skip them. And start your shop. So now we're gonna have to give Etsy some information so that way we can open our shop. So we're just gonna go through that process now. Shop language, for me it's gonna be English. Shop country, United States. Shop currency, United USD. Save and continue. Go ahead and put in shop name. I'm gonna try to put in Hello Custom. That one is already taken. I'm gonna try to add Hello Custom Co. And that one is available. So our shop name is gonna be Hello Custom Co. One thing about the shop name is I wouldn't spend too much time on the shop name. When somebody goes to Etsy to buy a shirt, for example, they wear it, their friends are like, that's a beautiful shirt, where'd you get that? They're going to say Etsy. They're not going to say your shop name. So we kind of fall underneath the halo of Etsy's branding. So that's kind of why we're putting just Hello Custom Co. Go ahead and click on Save and Continue. In order to open up your Etsy account, you have to launch your first listing. At this time, we don't have any products, so go ahead and just put in some dummy information. Just a placeholder image, a placeholder title, placeholder description, and then go ahead and save and continue. So let's go ahead and put the photo in here. Click on Add a Photo. Let that guy load. We're going to scroll down to where it shows the title. Again, this is just a placeholder listing. So I'm gonna put test title here. About this listing, we're just gonna say, I made it, it's a finished product, and it's made to order. Category, we might put apparel. Scrolling down, we're only gonna plug in the required information. So whenever you see an asterisk sign here, let's go ahead, that's good. Test. All right, scrolling down, we don't need to put any tags, the price, quantity 1, no variations, shipping, calculate it, you can plug in your zip code, processing time, scrolling down, and the item size, maybe it's 9 by 9 by 9. And we're gonna put in the item weight, let's go ahead and say it's 1 pound. We'll scroll down to the very bottom, and click on Save and Continue. All right, we've made our first listing. So moving on, we'll say that we'll do this later. So the next step is we have to plug in our billing information. That way Etsy knows how they're gonna pay us when we start to get sales. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scroll down. In this case, you can either be an individual where it might be like your social security number, but in my case, it's gonna be a business. We are gonna do country, United States. I'm gonna plug in my personal information. All right, we're gonna put in the name of legal entity. It's gonna be Hello Custom. Our entity number. Our EIN number. So after we plug in our business information, we're gonna tell Etsy a little bit about who we are. So if we scroll down, we're gonna plug in our first and last name, our street address, zip code, city, state. We'll go ahead and plug in that information. We're gonna plug in our date of birth and the last 4 of our social security number. Then the last step is where is your bank located? So for me, it's the United States. Alrighty, so after you tell Etsy where your bank is located, we're gonna go ahead and connect our bank so that way our money can go to the right account. So if you scroll down, we're gonna click on connect your bank via Plaid. So although I'm blurring out my screen right now, just go ahead and follow essentially the prompts and connect your bank account. So now that we've connected our Etsy account to our bank account, the last step we need to do is set up our billing information. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, so now that we've plugged in our billing information, let's go ahead and click on Save and Continue. So the last step that we have before opening up our Etsy account is to set up 2-factor authentication. So let's go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and click on Continue. We'll plug in our phone number here. And click on Continue. All right, so let's go ahead and click on Open Shop. Alrighty, so that's it. You now have an Etsy seller account. If we go ahead and sign into our shop manager, one thing that I like to do is go ahead and delete that template listing so that's not live on our shop. So if we come over to the left navigation bar here and we click on listings, you can see our test product right here. If you click on the drop down arrow here, we can go ahead and delete this product. So now that we have our Etsy account set up, the next step we need to do is create our Printify account. So I'll have a link in the description below to sign up, but essentially we'll go to printify.com. and click on sign up. We're gonna go ahead and put in our email, a password, and click on sign up. Alrighty, so once we sign in, there's gonna be a few things that we have to go through to formalize our Printify account. So let's do that now. So we're on step 2 of 8. Let's go ahead and what best describes yourself. I am an owner. What is your main objective? To grow my current business. And again, this is subjective to you guys. What brings you to Printify? Product selection. What is your current monthly sales? We're just getting started, 0. How do you currently fulfill your custom printed products? I don't yet, I'm just getting started. And then how did you find out about Printify? Friends and family. Alrighty, so now that we've created our Printify account, the next step we need to do is connect our Printify account to our Etsy account. So let's go ahead and click on Connect Your Store to Printify. So let's go ahead and scroll down. We're gonna click on Connect to Etsy. We are going to grant Printify permission to our Etsy account. And success. So that's it for video 1, guys. Super simple. We created our Etsy account, we created our Printify account, we connected the two, and we are now in business. That is it for episode 1. See you in the next episode. In the next episode, we're gonna find what products we want to sell. But the question is, will we find enough products to hit our goal? Stay tuned for episode 2.